Hello, everyone, and well, it's still good evening, but good evening, and welcome to Adam's TV podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel, and today we're talking to Big Brother. We are going to be going over the last week's eviction. We're going to be going through all of that. Joining me today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, evening, it is a man who probably has a lot of thoughts on a certain someone's eviction this week. It's Jason. How you doing, Jason?
I would be a lot better if a certain somebody else had gone home, but we're good. We're good.
All right. Well, let's kind of go over this because there's a lot to talk to from this past week, but some stuff it is we're kind of already into the next week. There's a lot of stuff going on that I do want to touch on for the next HOH, but we are just going to spend a little bit of time just going over some of these things that happened. So where we last left off, Bailey is crowned our new HOH, and what were you kind of
Oh, okay. Well, he has cut out. I think that he was going to ask how I felt about Bailey being HOH. So I can go ahead and answer that. Uh, well, this would be a lot easier if Ryan was here. Shout out to Ryan. He's not here. And yeah, I don't know what happened. Um,
are
can you hear me?
kind of put onto this like slide roll just second. Once it goes through, they kind of roll onto the board, and once whoever is closest to these 8 seconds is crowned the new HOH. So we go through the episode. Jason, are you still there? Can you?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Oh, you cut out. I don't know, but I was just talking a little bit about the HOH competition, and do you want to share your thoughts about the competition and Bailey's being crowned?
Yeah, I thought the competition itself was really stupid. I just feel like they could have done like something more interesting than them having to like slide down this ramp for 8 seconds. But like, it was okay. I was really excited like when Bailey won because I was like, oh, we needed a Bailey HOH. I thought it was going to be good for her game and she was going to do the damn thing. It was going to be really good. And I don't think that's what we got,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I don't think so either. I'm not a fan of like crapshoot competitions. I like the like one that's like the third or fourth HOH competition, but too many I feel doesn't really sit well for me. I'm like I said, one they usually do like the like throw a ball at something and see where
Mm-hmm.
it lands. Like those are kind of the competitions that I approve of. But this one kind of random. I feel like it was a little bit like low budget.
Uh-huh.
That was the vibe I was gonna get. But anyway, so Bailey is our HOH, and she is a member of. We still have the two sides going in the house. We have the Faute side, and we have level 6. So she's a member of Faute. She sets her sight. She is going to be going for level 6. And when I heard the news that Bailey was HOH, I was a little bit nervous for my man Tyler, but I didn't really have that much to be worried about because Bailey kind of wasn't even thinking about going for him, was she, Jason?
No, no. Which, like, if she had gone for him this week, oh my God, that would have been literally so legendary. But no. Which, like, I understand why she wanted to target Brett instead. Like, I get it. Like, he's obviously been kind of abrasive in the house, and we know that he's a little bit unpredictable when he gives speeches. So I kind of understood the logic behind going for Brett, but I thought that the execution wasn't as good as it should have been.
All right, that's fair. So Bailey, like we said, she ends up actually really trusting Tyler in this HOH, but she does let something slip to someone that is going to be talked about a little bit more in this podcast. But so she decides that she wants to get out Brett. Brett is her target, but she needs a pawn, and the pawn she decides is going to be Rachel, who is another member of Level 6. And before she puts her on the block, she kind of sits down with her, and she divulges a pretty massive secret that might not have been the smartest move, right, Jason?
Right, yeah, she should not. She told Rachel about her power. Now, why she did that, the logic, the reasoning, the strategy behind it, That was about the dumbest thing that she could have done, in my opinion. If she was going to tell somebody about her power, tell the side of your house that you are working with about your power. Don't let the whole other side of the house hear about it from some girl who you're not even working with. I just didn't understand the logic behind that. I thought it was stupid and not thought out at all.
Yes. So Bailey has this the identity theft power, which was a power up that she won. I think it was week 3. And using this power, she can change the nominees for the HOH. She can kind of take the role of the HOH, but that still leaves her immune during the veto ceremony. So she has this power. Of the Faute side, she told Fessy, and I think that's it. That's everyone she told. And she decides now to divulge it to Rachel. And of course this news is going to spread. Like, what was she thinking here? Like, why did she even decide to do it?
She wasn't thinking. And that's the problem. I feel like it was just kind of something that she just blurted out, like, okay, well, I'm going to put you on the block, but let me tell you this tea really quick so that she felt comfortable going on the block. No one's going to feel comfortable going on the block ever, first of all. But second of all, like, you don't have to give a reason to put somebody up on a block. You can literally do whatever you want. You're HOH. So, like, I'm not understanding this concept, you know?
Yeah. So like we said, so Bailey now is HOH. She decides to trust Tyler. Tyler kind of, at one point, even Bailey says that she trusts Tyler the most in the house, which is a little insane. And I mean, you're not someone who I feel is the highest on Tyler, but there is a certain level of this guy is pretty damn impressive at this game that he managed to completely skate by Bailey's week and not be called out, right?
Oh, definitely. Like, I am not the biggest fan of Tyler per se because I don't like this kind of arc that CBS is giving him where, like, I guess they're kind of making him out to be like the Paul of Big Brother 20. And I would like nothing more than for somebody to just expose him on his bull. But I'm afraid that's not going to happen for a hot minute now. But I digress. I think it was quite impressive that he did make it through Bailey's week without getting any blood on his hands per se.
I will say that I am a little bit biased because Tyler is my number one favorite of all these house guests, but I will say that my favorite players in the past, like Dan, like Eric, like Vanessa, these players are the best because they do very well when their back is up against the wall. Tyler is kind of a little bit in the Derek spot, kind of like the Paul, except Paul didn't win. So he's kind of like at the top. I do want to see him backed up against the wall. I want to see how he does under pressure. Like Johnny from Big Brother Canada, like some of these like moments where they have to do a whole flip, like legends are made during those moments. And players who are constantly riding the top, they're not really they're a legend, but they're not like below. I don't kind of know like how to really say this, but you kind of get what I'm saying here, Jason.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like, every time that we've seen like one of the Big Brother legends with their back up against the wall. I mean, look at Dan, he constructed his whole entire funeral and got saved for that week. So, like, no, I definitely agree with you. I would love to see Tyler, like, have to kind of fight a little bit because it seems like it's been pretty easy for him so far, but we haven't gotten to see that yet.
What do you think it will take Tyler to do to make you a fan of his, Jason?
I'm not a fan of Tyler at this point. Like, obviously, like, Tyler's cool or whatever, he hasn't said anything problematic yet inside the house. I'm not not a fan of his. The selfish part of me just really wants to see him fail, if that makes sense. Just because I feel like he's kind of been the obvious, like, okay, we pick you to win at this point.
All right, so let's kind of move on. So Bailey, like we said, the target is Brett. She nominates Rachel and Brett. Rachel, at this point, she starts to freak out a little bit, and this is kind of going to be the downward spiral that kind of ends with Rachel's Big Brother run. What did you kind of feel for Rachel during this time when she's on the block?
I mean, obviously, like, I felt bad for her because I did like Rachel, but I just felt like she was being so overdramatic. Like, she wasn't even really crying because she was on the block for the most part of the week. She was crying because she thought Brett was going to go home. Brett is not going to get you that $500,000 check, first of all. So I don't understand why she was like in the diary room, bawling her eyes out when like she thought she was gonna stay. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rachel, but she kind of, I feel like had Rachel not had this like big freak out that she kind of did while she was on the block, do you think there was a possibility she would have stayed?
Definitely, definitely. If she had not, first of all, if she had not betrayed Bailey's trust by going and telling Bailey's business to Angela, that would not have set everything in motion. If that makes sense. So, but it was just like the way that she acted that I think just kind of rubbed people the wrong way.
Speaking of Angela's, this is one of the headlines I kind of wanted to touch. So every time before we go with a podcast, I have these headlines, and one of the ones at the top is there's life in Angela's game. There is the couch is starting to kick, and we saw some pretty solid gameplay from Angela. Did we, Jason? What did you think of how she played this week?
Now that one, next. I don't. She Her no, we did not see solid gameplay from her this week. She voted out like probably her most loyal person because
She's a stone cold mother effer.
because like it doesn't make any sense. Nah, Angela made probably about the stupidest move of the season so far, I think. And the way that she went about it too.
But
Nah,
you know
I'm ready
what?
for her to go.
At least she gave us good TV. Like you might
I
not
mean,
appreciate the game, but my God, that the
true.
eviction that we'll touch on. Like if you're not gonna be like a game player, like be entertaining, and that's something I just love about Angela because she is just stone cold. Like she's someone who will like kick a puppy out of the way instead of like pushing it, which is like horrible to say, but I love a good villain in Big Brother, and I feel like she's kind of starting to fit into that Big Brother villain role. And I'm excited for it. I picked her first in the draft, and I'm excited that she's more than just a couch, right?
I mean, yeah, she can IKEA it up for the next 2 weeks before they level 3 turns on her ass like they did everybody else.
I love that
And
she's
that's the
nicknamed.
T on that.
I love that she's nicknamed IKEA. That is,
Okay. Okay.
it's hilarious. So we kind of get into this veto competition. It's Big Brother's take on Uber, except the competition is called. I don't even remember what it was called, but
It
the
was called
concept.
Goober.
Oh, it was called Goober. So it's kind of this puzzle competition. Um, this looks really like it would be a little bit confusing for me. Some of the house guests who are competing in this competition do actually go over the time limit given for the house guests. I probably would have not timed out, but probably be near the 20-minute mark. This looks like a pretty hard competition. Do you think, Jason?
Oh, I would have timed out. Nah. Nah, we're not doing that because that was just too much. Like y'all had them having to whip and weave throughout the streets and like figure out which pieces go what. No, it would have been a hot mess. Okay, I would not have. I would not have done well at that.
My strategy would have probably just been to suck as I would have, and in the diary room say a lot of puns, which is basically what all the house guests do
Mm-hmm.
during these competitions. So it probably wouldn't have been that far off. But we get our winner of this competition, and it is Tyler. This had me a little bit worried. Not a good move to be winning so many competitions this early in the game. What did you think about Tyler taking it?
He didn't just win the competition; he won that thing in 6 minutes. Like what? You did that in 6 minutes? Like, nah. Mm-mm. And he didn't have any reason to win it either. Like, you were not going to take somebody off the block. Like, he is getting this mastermind edit, but if he had taken somebody off the block, he would have shown every single one of his cards. So, no. I don't understand why he wanted to win that.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna agree. I want Tyler to do well because he is like my favorite player. I always root for these gamers, and I don't like that he's making himself so much of a target. But so like we said, that is the all the competitions for the week. One thing I kind of want to touch on before we kind of get into like the strategy and then the eviction is the house gets JC is someone who I do want to touch on because I feel like Tyler is like the number one player of the game, and JC is like maybe in that second spot. Do you think he's kind of one of the best players in the house right now?
I mean, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't. He hasn't, like, done anything yet that's like royally messed up his game like some of the other house guests have. So I definitely would say he's up there. I don't know if we've seen like, him as in like the top two players so far, but he's definitely playing a good game, a lot better than I expected.
I'm gonna say this comparison. You might call me crazy for it, but in Big Brother 18, there were like 2 weeks when it was Frank and Tiffany were kind of getting exposed and getting evicted. JC is kind of reminding me of Paul during those weeks. Like he's kind of like the rat a little bit, kind of like going through both sides. Do you kind of see that comparison a little bit? Like he's imagine like a lot of the people kind of see him at like the bottom of the totem pole. Like level 6 doesn't see him as a member. Baute doesn't see him as a member, but he's still like kind of weaving his way through. Do you see that comparison, or am I crazy?
I don't think you're crazy, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that he has positioned himself really well to where like he's just kind of in the middle and he votes like he's not being controlled by anybody, but he tends to go more towards the level 6 alliance. And so I think that the other house, like the people in the Faute alliance, are probably more onto him than he thinks. But he's positioned himself well where I don't think he'll go for at least a couple more weeks.
Yeah, there is like a little part of me that's a little worried that like maybe Tyler's going to go home in like a few weeks, which would be terrifying. And then JC kind of like is remembered as the mastermind of the season. Mm-hmm. Like the editors kind of give him that edit. And I am just a little worried because JC is like a fraction of the player of Tyler is. He's a player, but he's still not there. Right. All right, so let's kind of move on to another of the headlines that I have. This is kind of something that I don't really know what to make of so far, but it's about Haley and Fessy. So I'm just going to pose this question to you because I'm not really sure. Are they a couple? Are they what is the status of these two house guests?
I know exactly what they are. A mess.
Fair enough. Because there was a lot of talk that people were talking about during this week was because Fessy he's a little bit possessive, Haley. There was something that happened on the feeds. I don't believe it was shown on it was, I think, shown on the episode where Brett and Haley sat outside on a hammock. They were kind of talking. There was like some light touching, nothing like, I don't think anything too much, but they were talking for a bit much. And Fessy was not liking this.
Mm-hmm.
Was he?
No, definitely not. I think that with Haley, she tends to gravitate more toward Fessy, but I think that she's kind of made the decision where she's like, I'm not about to mess my game up for no boy. Like, I'm about to go and flirt with this boy and this boy and this boy, and they're all going to keep me safe. And I think that she positioned herself really well. I think that she does. Like, if she wasn't in the game, I feel like her and Fessy would kind of have something going, but not right now. While she's in the game, at least, I don't think.
Yeah, like I said, Fessy's just really like a little bit creepily like obsessed with her. Like you can't talk to Brett for too long. He constantly is like pining for attention. And speaking of Haley, there's also a lot about Sam and Bailey a little bit. I think less so Bailey, but a little bit. They kind of slut shame her a little bit, like for kind of playing with Fessy, and there's a clip that went around of like Haley in the pool and she starts twerking, and then they kind of spliced it with like Sam doing the wide-eyed like this. Did you see that, Jason?
I think I did, yeah. Sam, I don't know what it is about Sam. She's doing the most. I'm sorry. Like, she is doing the absolute most. She basically tells everybody that Haley's just like this harlot like every single week, and I don't understand, like, what do you have against her?
She's like
living her best life.
She's like a young girl. Like she's done nothing like that bad. But everyone, I feel this week of Bailey's HOH, of all the people, I felt so bad for Haley. Like Bailey is saying like, oh, you should like give Fessy a little bit more. And they're kind of like pushing her to kind of do these things for Fessy. And she's a little bit not comfortable for it. And everyone's like kind of just like, Sam is like the Aunt Lydia, who's kind of like, you're being a slut, and Bailey's like, you should go be a slut. Like it's just weird. And I feel like if this was the real world, I feel like I would hope that Haley's friends would kind of step in and say like, okay, let's let's put an end to this. This is getting a little bit nuts. Do you think so, Jason?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I like Haley as a player. I think she's playing a good game, and I don't see a problem with how that she acts in the house. But that's just me.
I just feel so. It's like this poor girl, and they're like
Mhm.
constantly like sexualizing her to do these things, and she doesn't want to, and they're kind of like shaming her for doing it, and then shaming her for not doing it. It's a bit of a mess. But one other thing that I do want to touch on for Bailey's HOH is she gets a case of something that some house guests get in Big Brother. It's called HOH itis, and she got it right, Jason.
She got it bad. She
What
got it real
happened?
bad. She basically was just like, you know what? Whatever I say is gonna go, and it was basically just like she thought it was the Bailey show for the whole week, and it was not. And she thought that she just had it going on. At one point in the diary room, she was like, I think this is the smoothest HOH so far. No, no.
Yeah, I feel like going into this week, Bailey was in a pretty solid position to go deep into the game,
Mm-hmm.
and she just kind of made every bad decision someone could make. She's having people swear their allegiances to her. Like
Mm-hmm.
it it was a little bit uncomfortable to watch on the feeds how she kind of like interrogates people. But yeah, the worst was when she was talking to Rachel. I think it was Rachel, and she said like you're bringing in negative energy, which is like the spirit of Caitlyn still lingering. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just uh, a little bit, you know, it's
Messy.
it's not fun to watch people like get interrogated and like you know. But anyway, so like let's kind of keep moving forward. So Tyler has the HOH. Tyler has the veto. I'm sorry, and both of his level 6 members are on the block, and Brett, Rachel, they're both a little bit. They both kind of want the veto used on him, and Bailey says no, don't use it on me. And not only that, but she says something along the lines of like, if you don't use the veto, you will have secured my trust, and I will ride or die with you, pretty much. Uh, and Tyler ends up deciding not to use the veto. Do you think this was a good play for him?
Definitely. There was no reason for him to use that. No reason.
Yeah, but I I'm just a little bit like it was a good move because it did secure Bailey's like trust. But we'll kind of touch on this a little bit later on. But yeah, I don't really know. But in the long game, as we'll talk about a little later on, it does actually end up working out. So those are our two nominees at the end of the week. It's Brett and Rachel. Two level 6 members on the block, which do get me a little bit sad because I am a big level 6 fan. And going into the votes, what do you think? What's kind of the mood in the house going into this vote before the eviction?
Well, Falte thought that they had Brett's elimination secure because they thought that they had Tyler's vote. They thought they could get JC's vote. Mm-mm. And they just thought that it was like universally known that Brett was going to be the target. But level 6,
Yep.
they were not having it.
We get down to the eviction, and all of level 6 decides to evict Rachel. One of the most like pro level 6 like figures on the team is betrayed by her entire alliance. All of Faute votes to evict Brett, and it comes down to a 5-4 vote. Rachel is evicted, and she leaves with her mouth on the floor. Right, Jason?
Oh, she stormed out of that house. She was like, she didn't say bye. She didn't do nothing. She
But
stormed
but
out.
at least we know that some of her alliance members kind of felt bad for her because as she storms out, JC runs to the door so he could do this in front of the camera to wave,
Mm-hmm.
which I got to tell you, if I'm ever blessed to be on this house in the Big Brother house, I'm gonna like pull one person aside and say like, before I leave, just shut the door behind me. Just I don't.
Okay. Same. Just shut the damn door, please.
You've all just evicted me. You do not deserve like to get your 2 seconds of waving time. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just always just bothers me a little bit. But
That bothers me, and then damn diary room shoutouts bothered me so much.
so you would not support our local troops. JC is the worst defender of these because they're just what
Take care of your pets. Like,
support your troops. Like
what do
what
you think this is? I don't understand. You came in that room for one purpose, and that's to cast your vote to evict.
All you
We do
do.
not need. We do, this is not. You are not Ronald Reagan, sir. You are not. You are. No, he needs to calm down with that. I'm sorry.
All you
I don't
do.
know who he thinks he is.
You just sit down. You say, "I vote to evict blank. Thank you," and then you walk out. That's it. You
And
should not be
maybe,
saying.
say hello to Julie. Tell her she looks nice or whatever. That's fine. You can do that. But I do not need to hear, "Hi, Mom, Dad, Kaylee, Hannah, Anna, what, Harry." Like, no. No. You have the 24-hour live internet feed for that. Like, please. And it's gotten to the point where every one of them has something to say. Like, stop. And I do not need some kind of political call to action from JC. I don't need it. I don't want it. I never asked for it. No, it's just too much. I'm sorry. I know we were not talking about that, but that drives me up the wall. It drives me so insane. Please, if I ever get to make it on that show, I will say, hello, Julie. I cast my vote to evict whoever. Thank you, Julie. And then I walk out. That's how that goes. I'm not understanding this concept.
I think I might actually have one thing that, like, if one of these house guests say this one thing, I will give them a pass, and that is if I'm in the house and I get to cast a vote to evict, I will say Helen was pushed and then walk out.
Okay, or Mariah is skinny. If they say that, they can do whatever they want to do.
Like, that's the only exception. I don't want to hear you calling to your parents or your dog or your fish. Like,
No.
Helen was pushed, whatever you said, and that's it. But let's kind of move on. We've kind of gotten a little bit off topic. So, before Rachel's actually evicted, Brett kind of has he decides he's gonna drop another one of his epic speeches, right, Jason?
I'm so over him. He is so insufferable. I'm sorry. He is simply insufferable.
I kind of enjoy Brett for his explosive speeches. In his speech, he kind of exposes Bailey's power because obviously Rachel spilled it to all of her alliance, and pretty much the entire house knew except for a few of the Faute members. And I think it was for just Rockstar and Haley. This was the first time they heard this news. All of Level 6 had already known because Rachel spilled it to them. Mm-hmm. And the one cherry on top that was missing from the speech was for Brett to pin it on Rockstar, because that was all I needed. If that was to happen, I mean,
like 3 weeks after Rockstar's daughter's birthday, how dare
we would have gotten it done too.
Huh?
We would have gotten the second coming of that speech. But
oh my god,
I will say there is one. If Tyler can't win this season, if Tyler is not going to be our winner, there is one final two that I just want so badly, and it's Rockstar and Brett. Just imagine them in the final two. Like it's Kevin and Karen from Big Brother Canada 4 all over again.
How dare you? 9 weeks after my daughter's birthday.
You drag me to the final two. Who would win, honestly?
Oh my god. Can you imagine like another 5-4 jury vote? I can't handle another one. Please. Okay. That's the one vote. I'm just like, listen. Can y'all please just all vote a certain way? Please. Like I do not need to be split down the middle like that, because the last 2 times it has been so stressful.
I love it. I love the stress of it. Like the high of once it's over. Especially when Paul lost. Oh God. So Rachel goes out of the house. She storms out. There was a part of me a little bit freaked out because there is that moment. There was like 1 or 2 minutes before she walks out the door. She could have ruined everything for Level 6. Like just get up. She could stand up and say, there's an alliance. It's Level 6. Tyler is the figurehead. Everyone is kind of like, just go nuts. And I was so like, I was watching this so closely, but nope, not a word. She gets up. I think she says unbelievable, grabs her bag, runs out the door. She's gone. She sits down with Julie and she's
distraught.
She's crushed and like shocked and sad. It's like a mixture of these 3 like emotions. And it's just, and Julie's sitting aside from her and starts grilling her.
Julie's like, are you good?
I love Julie Chen, especially when she's like a little bit like shady, like when she says like good for you, like, oh, I made friends. I think it was for Raven or something, but I love that. But for this interview, it's just, it was amazing and uncomfortable at the same time. It's incredible. Like Rachel is just like, I have no idea what happened. She looks like on the verge of tears. I think she like does like shed a few tears. And Julie confirms because she is the final member of the Big Brother cast to not make the jury. She reveals that Angela, Casey, Tyler, Sam, JC all voted against her, and she's just crushed. But there's a cherry on top here to kind of. It's awful for Rachel, but it's fantastic television. We get the goodbye messages, and what happens in them, Jason?
That's when I decided that I want Angela gone as soon as possible. Because Angela was just like, nope, you're insane. You're gone. Bye. You're irrelevant.
I think she says
Angela to call Rachel irrelevant.
I think she says you've been irrelevant since week 2. And I didn't understand this until I heard about it from someone on Reddit, that apparently she was referencing the fact that she got the crap app week 2. But I will say that I know that you, Ryan, probably aren't that high on Angela. I kind of love her. Like, she's nuts, but she is a villain, and I love that she is like a stone cold, like, just off, like, she's just crazy.
She sucks. She sucks.
But she she reminds me a little bit of less gamey. Oh God, what was her name? The Big Brother Canada runner-up this past season, Kayla.
Kayla.
Like a less gamey version of her, like a stone cold, like, I'm going to send you home. I'm going to stab the knife in your front, like, while you're looking at me. Like, I know she's not everyone's cup of tea, especially with some of the controversies, but as a character on this TV show, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to see where this goes. That's all I can really say.
Interesting.
So
it's gonna be interesting.
So Rachel is evicted. She's a little bitter. But I was wondering, like, had she been a jury member, do you think she would have maybe put aside her feelings and maybe voted had a level 6 member made it to the end, or do you think she would have been a bitter Betty?
I mean, I think that, being juror number 1 is hard because there is so much game that you just don't get to see. Like, you just have to hear about it from everybody else. So my thought process is, like, it just kind of depends on what happens, like, throughout the rest of the game. But I don't know, I feel like with Rachel having been friends with former house guests and having, watched the show for many years, I do think that she would have been a fair juror, but you never know with these people. I thought that Davon would have been a fair juror. No. She wasn't. I thought Paul would have won at least one time, but no.
I guess. So we kind of go on right into the HOH competition. It's this competition that was based on, they saw GIFs or GIFs. I don't even know what the hell people call them. I don't call them anything.
Ryan calls them GIFs and he can choke. It's a GIF.
I just don't call them anything. I just call them, like, vines, which they're not.
Listen, it stands for graphics interchange format. Graphics, not graphics. It's graphics, so it's GIF. Hello. Do you say that you want to juggle something? No.
I guess.
It's GIF.
So the HOH competition, it's like I believe it was true or false. It comes down to Angela and Rockstar in the final 2, and I gotta say, this episode, man, it was like, it had everything. It had nail biters, and it comes down to this moment, and whoever wins this HOH, it's going to go in a dramatically different direction, whoever wins. And my favorite moment is it comes down to a tiebreaker. And the question is, like, how long was this competition? And Angie Rockstar does, like, the math on her board, and what happened with her board, Jason? Can you explain?
Okay, they were asked how many seconds did it take for them to complete the HOH competition that Sam won. And she thought that it was about 30 minutes long. So she did 60 times 30, because that would give her the number of seconds for 30 minutes, which is 1,800. So tell me why she put 60 times 30 equals 1,200. I'm not understanding this concept. She still wouldn't even won, because the competition, it was like 3,600 something. So it was an hour long. But
0 stars, Angie Rockstar. That math
me down.
Yes.
She let me down.
And when Angela won the HOH, I, like, audibly, like, yes. But I know that most people probably don't share that sentiment. But
no,
like,
we don't.
I was so hyped because, first of all, it means level 6 keeps the power. But a lot of people have been talking like, oh, level 6 is now just going to steamroll, but level 6 is down to 4 members, and Faute is also, I think, at 5, right? Like, so people are worried about this like steamroll that I feel like isn't a factor. I feel like it's not something that's going to happen or will happen. Like, level 6 has been losing members, but they've just been kind of like surprising people with which member they're cutting, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
Right, Jason?
Yeah, definitely. No, I don't think that we're at the point where there's one alliance that's just going to steamroll. No, I definitely don't think so. And you got to think about it this way too. Yes, level 6 is down to 4 people, and 2 of them have yet to win a competition. So,
yeah,
when we had this proven track record from Faute, how many of them have won competitions? Scotty, Haley, Scotty, Fessel, Bailey has won a competition. So, like, no. And Haley won something too now. So that's 4 out of the 5 of them have won something. Rockstar, I need you to win something. Rockstar, I need Rockstar to win something. Please. And thank you.
We're gonna go into spoilers in a second, but just for this week, I just want to say, like, Big Brother 18, Big Brother 19, Big Brother 20. I mean, every week it's been nuts. It's everything. Like, I think every single week has been like a nail biter, like insane event. And I love it. Like, this is like totally revitalizing like my love for Big Brother. After those 2 seasons that were so rough for me to get through, like I kind of checked out of 19 when Tiffany and Frank went home. And then when Cody and Jessica left in 19, like, but this season, like, I can't stress how much I'm loving it. Are you as well?
I agree. Yeah, this is like old Big Brother, and I'm absolutely here for it.
The best part is I will say though, like I've been watching this episode. My favorite part of the season still, and I probably will list it in like my top favorite moments of Big Brother of the seasons I've watched, was Caitlyn failing that puzzle, because oh my god, I just rewatch it. Like, going back and rewatching it.
It's infuriating to watch. It's so infuriating.
And she falls down. She's like, I can't do it. It's too hard. Like, what more could you want from a Big Brother season? But
I definitely would not be surprised to see her back for another season. I definitely think it's a possibility.
Let's talk about that, because she's evicted, but she's made it her way onto social media. And from what I've heard, from what I've seen, she seems like someone who was like, would be like the recipient of the most hate of the house guests coming out, but she's kind of like embraced her like role and has been kind of nothing but supportive and like excited about the show, as fans are. What do you think about her social media presence after the season?
With the exception of one house guest that has been evicted, you know, I really appreciate that, like, everything has been pretty okay with them not receiving a bunch of hate, except for Swaggy C.
That was who I wanted to talk about next.
People have been nasty to him, and there's no excuse for it. He's been getting messages from racists. It's honestly ridiculous. But, like, I think that he would probably be asked back. I think Caitlyn would be asked back. I would love to see Rachel go back in. I don't think there's a chance in hell it happens, but I would love to see it happen. So, you never know. That's how iconic this season has been so far.
Hey, Jason, what does Caitlyn say when she's kicked out of her room but doesn't want to leave? Namaste. Get it?
All right, well, that's it for this podcast. Thank you for Adam. Where can we find you on social media?
All right, I felt so proud of myself for coming up with that joke, but
yeah.
Do you kind of want to touch on Swaggy on Twitter? Because I was kind of expecting, like, if you had told me before, like, how these social media handles would be going at the end of the season, like once they were evicted, I'd have said Caitlyn's would have been a mess and Swaggy's would have been kind of full of love, and it's the exact opposite. I mean, Swaggy's been the recipient of hate, but he's also been like very harsh on people still in the house, like Casey. Like, he's been calling her, like, I think, irrelevant or something. What do you kind of make about his social media presence?
I mean, I follow him on Twitter. I don't have a problem with anything he said so far. I do wish he wouldn't rub elbows with James Hewling or Elena, but I mean, it is what it is. I like Swaggy. I had no issues with him.
What did you think about the segment we got on the episode where he got to meet Bailey's parents?
That was so cute. It was so cute. I wish we would have gotten like a segment from In the House, but it was nice.
Oh, okay. Wasn't expecting that, but yeah. Let's kind of move on. So, you ready to go into spoilers, Jason?
Let's do it.
All right, so to our viewers, this is your spoiler warning. We are now going to be touching on some things that have happened. The episode ends with Angela being HOH, and here we go. This is going to be our spoiler section of the episode. So feeds come back after the episode, and I was glued to the feeds after this happened. And the first thing I see is Angie Rockstar sobbing, and apparently, basically Bailey was shocked. No, Bailey wasn't actually shocked, but Faute was shocked. They did not see this vote coming. They were positive that Brett was going to go. But apparently right before the eviction, Tyler pulled Bailey aside and said, look, I'm going to be voting to keep Rachel. No, I'm voting to keep Brett. And he kind of like was open and honest about that. And he said, look, this is something I need to do. And she seemed okay with it. And she said, okay. But she was kind of expecting his vote to be a sympathy vote. And it turned out to, oh, look, all these new votes came from. I don't know what happened. And but she kind of puts him in the clear. And now it just comes down to, where did that other vote come from? And apparently Bailey is convinced that Brett's speech 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks or was it 3 weeks ago, with the eviction of Winston with on my daughter's birthday, that was all legit. And now that they have an alliance, and Rockstar is the mole in her Faute alliance, right, Jason?
Yeah, that's what she thinks.
And it kind of goes into this like really uncomfortable and also a little bit like entertaining moment where Bailey, she comes into a room with Rockstar, and she's like, admit it. You were the traitor. You did this. This is all your fault. And Rockstar is just like, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And Bailey just like keeps yelling at her. And Rockstar's like, no, it wasn't me. And she's totally telling the truth. But Bailey is like, has convinced herself, no, it has to be you. But in reality, the person she's looking at, I'm sorry, she should be looking at, is JC. JC is the person who is lying about his vote, and that is the one that I feel like she would be most betrayed by. But she's convinced it's Rockstar, and this moment was like it was like Rachel's eviction. It was uncomfortable and entertaining at the same time, because Rockstar is just like, I didn't do anything wrong, and you're just accusing me. And this is a brilliant for how this is just going down. It's like a mess, right, Jason?
Bailey has lost her mind. She has lost her mind. I don't know. Why is it when this keeps happening, they always look at people inside their alliance, when in reality, like, y'all should know that it was Tyler and JC who voted to evict Caitlyn. Like, I'm not understanding this concept.
I love it though, these blind sides, and it kind of leads into this next section that was like a little bit. I don't know if that many people were talking about it, but JC, Scotty, Rockstar, Fessy, and Haley are in a room together.
Wait, can I say something?
Go for it.
I just messed that up. It was Tyler and JC who voted to evict Winston, and I said Caitlyn. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, continue. I apologize.
So, that's all right. So JC, Scotty, Rockstar, Fessy, and Haley are in a room together, and this is another moment that is just like, this season just keeps giving. So these 5 people, they're in a room together. One of them is lying. One of them has told a lie and voted against them. And they're all just kind of looking around at each other like, all right, it's one of us. Who is it? And they just keep like, it's just like this awkward moment. It kind of reminds me of like when I play cards with my friends. We're all like looking at each other, like, who's doing this? Who's doing what? And you can't tell. Mm-hmm. I love this moment. Did you catch it on the feeds, Jason?
I think I did. I saw that like the next day. I really support them. I like them, but like, they're so stupid. They are so stupid. It's a mess. Just a hot mess.
People have made this point that Faute, even though they are still like, I will say this. I think June actually said it on Twitter. Like, you can't really feel bad for Faute because they've had so much power, so much has gone their way, and they've just messed it up on their own, of their own like merits. And like, I can't really feel bad for them. And that's kind of the driving force of the season, is they are the underdogs, but they're terrible underdogs. Like
And they
from
win things
perspectives,
all the time, and they're still the underdogs because they don't know what to do with their powers.
like everything just keeps going wrong. But like Bailey, she has this power. She could have done something with it. No, she spoils it to Rachel. Like everything just keeps going wrong. But it's so entertaining, and that's I feel what makes the season. There's two driving like entertainment forces. I feel like it's Tyler and JC. Kind of, it's crazy to say, but they're kind of like they're like a little bit in the middle. Like Tyler's with level 6, but he's also like to everyone else, he's in the middle a little bit. And these two people, these two votes are the ones that are causing the most entertainment. And I just, for JC, from someone who we like discounted in the early rounds, I'm kind of enjoying him,
Definitely.
which is nuts. But like I said, I'm still worried that Tyler's going to get evicted and JC's going to be remembered as this mastermind. But Tyler is, in my opinion, the one true mastermind of the season. So we've actually, it's Sunday now, so we've actually gotten the HOH nominations and the results of the veto competition, and also the results of the hacker competition, which is actually on TV now. And I think it wrapped. I'm going to catch it right after this episode that we film. So, so what is Angela's plan going into this HOH, Jason?
Angela puts up Scotty and Rockstar, which are my two favorites. So just further reason to hate this chick. And she gets her plans forward a little bit.
Yes, it took a little bit convincing. I think it was Tyler's job mostly. He says, look, Bailey has this power. Let's make her comfortable. Let's make her feel like nothing's coming. And then we're going to backdoor her. And Angela is like, sure. Like, okay. She gets convinced a little bit. Like she initially wanted, I believe, to send home Scotty and backdoor him, but she decides to kind of change her mind. We're going to go for Bailey instead. And I got to say, Bailey's brought this on herself. Like there was a part of me that could like root for her at the beginning, but at this point, like this is all of your own merits. You've just made all these mistakes yourself. I feel like if she hadn't revealed that she had this power, she's probably safe, right, Jason?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think so.
So yes, and Angela is like, oh, I'm not sure if this is like entirely correct, but it's something along these lines that she's like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with Bailey, and then I'm just gonna stone cold like put her up, and like I love that she's like so hardcore like evil a little bit. Like she reminds me of Cersei Lannister a little. And are you a Game of Thrones fan, Jason? Do you
I'm
know?
not, but I know what you're talking about.
She's like this stone cold like. She's nuts, but I love her nuttiness and like how stone cold and like evil she is. And right. But before we get to the backdoor plan can be talked about in the episode, Julie drops a bit of a bomb because this season has been going so great that Alison Granda, the creator, decides she wants to switch it up a little bit, right, Jason?
That she tends to do.
What's going on?
Well, now they've got this hacker competition, and basically, if you win the hacker competition, you can anonymously take one of the nominees off of the block and put up somebody else who you want to go up.
Yep, and so this power is. I don't think the season needed it. I mean, I guess they kind of just want something to jazz it up. But this is the deck we've been dealt with. So this hacker competition, it's going to give one person, whoever wins the competition, gets 3 powers, and each power is kind of ridiculous. Right, Jason?
And they can do the eviction vote as well. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yes, so the winner can, I believe he can change the nominees before the veto competition, nullify a vote to evict, and also decide on one person who's going to be competing in the veto competition. And this is just, it's overpowered. Like, it's a little bit much.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm okay with it this week. Next week, once Angela or somebody wins it, I might not be so cool with it. But this week, I'm good.
Yes. So Haley ends up actually winning the hacker power, and this was the first moment of the season that like had me like sweating a little bit because we don't actually even know that Haley won, but some spoilers on Twitter dropped that it was her, and she decides to nominate Tyler. What do you make of this, Jason?
You're doing amazing, sweetie. You're doing amazing.
Was this a good move for her game? Like, just from a game perspective, was this a smart move? Did she do the right thing?
Yeah, absolutely. She sees through the BS. And another thing is, like, it's anonymous, so they're never going to know it was actually her. For all they know, it could be Rockstar, it could be Fessel, it could be anybody.
But
So yeah, I think it was a great move.
but you know the Faute side have a system of never being able to keep their mouths shut. So
Okay.
hopefully
Mm-hmm.
hopefully Haley can be the dissenting person in that group. But yeah, Tyler's on the block. She decides to take down Scotty and put up Tyler. So our nominees going into this competition are Tyler and Rockstar. And there's a very likely scenario here where Tyler goes home. And for the first time in the season, I was like, holy crap. Like, oh my God, this could actually happen. It's the first week of jury. This is like the equivalent of Mitch and Big Brother Canada. Like, oh my gosh. It got me panicked a little bit, right, Jason?
It would be
Well, I don't know.
legendary. It would be legendary.
This was like the first time when I was like waiting on pins and needles for the veto results. But Haley gets this power, so she's able to choose one of the nominees to put on the block to compete in the veto competition. And who does she pick, Jason?
I'm
Casey.
drawing a blank. Who did she pick? Casey. Yeah.
Do you know why she picked her?
No. Mm-mm.
Here's the impression that I got. I feel like she originally was trying to pin this all on Scotty, but Scotty apparently said to her that, oh, if I win veto, I'm going to use it on Tyler. And at this point, she got a little bit of cold feet and was like, okay, I can't. If I pick Scotty, they're going to be onto me. So she decides to put Casey because if you put up Casey as to compete in the veto competition, then you have no idea who it is. And it hides.
And also, Casey's not going to win.
Yes. I feel like, honestly, this is just a part of Haley misplaying this a little bit. She kind of misplayed her power. I don't know what the correct play for her from her perspective, looking at from like where she is. I don't know what the correct move is, but I don't know. I kind of want to see her diary room sessions to explain it. But the veto chips are drawn, and other people competing are Brett and who else? Who am I missing? Brett. It's all of level 6. Brett and Scotty are both picked to play, and this is a fantastic draw for Tyler. And if Scotty was to stay true to his word and use it on him to save him, that would mean that if anyone but Rockstar wins, Tyler is safe, which you got to say is like a true testament to his game and how strong he's playing it.
Yeah, definitely.
But if Rockstar wins, he's going home. Like that's just how it's going to go. But unfortunately for the Faute side, Angela ends up winning the veto competition. I believe it was like I don't really know how to like explain these competitions, but it's the one where you kind of get a present and then the other people open the presents and you could kind of switch back and forth. I actually kind of love this. This is like a staple of Big Brother that I'm always a big fan of it because the first place prize always has like a punishment and you have to switch it for the veto, and it's like you're torturing someone, and I love these competitions. Do you?
Somebody gets $5,000. Somebody gets a trip. There's a costume. Always,
Yep. So I think it was Tyler. This is what I've heard. Tyler apparently was the winner of the competition. He was the last person standing, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think Scotty had the $5,000. Angela had the veto. Brett had a trip to Hawaii, and Tyler opens his present, and it's a punishment. And he looks at the thing, and he looks at the 3 people, and Angela's like, no, like I'm not taking your punishment. I have the veto. I'm going to use it on you, but don't take it from me. Is that what you heard, Jason?
I think so. I think that's what happened. We have to see the episode, but yeah, I think so. So
instead, Tyler he's like, okay, and he switches it with Brett. He takes the Hawaii vacation, and Brett gets this punishment. And a lot of people were calling Tyler out on him, like, you could have won the veto here. Like, you could have secured your own safety. Do you think he played it right? If this is the scenario, do you think Tyler made the right move or the wrong move here by not taking the veto and 100% securing his safety?
If he knew Angela was going to use it on him, get you a trip to Hawaii, get you $5,000. One of the things that really pissed me off last season was when everybody got PO'd at Elena for taking the $5,000. But, like, that's $5,000 she didn't have before. And at that point, she wasn't going home or anything. So, like, why not take the $5,000?
What would you pick? What would you take?
If I knew I wasn't gonna go home, or the person that had the veto uh, was gonna use it on me, I would get whatever I wanted to. $5,000, a trip to wherever. Get, please. I would take that.
Which one, the 5,000 or the trip to Hawaii? Because I'm always like, what if the
Mm.
trip is a crappy trip? And that's something I'm always a little worried about.
Deal. Well, there's two things you have to worry about here because you have to pay taxes on both of them.
Okay.
So if you take the trip, you have to, I guess, like your taxes are taken out of your stipend or something. You have to pay taxes on that trip. But if you take the $5,000, you probably get like a cool 3,500 at least after taxes and everything. So yeah, take the $5,000. You can buy yourself a damn trip for yourself.
All right. So Angela now has this veto, and she's going to use it on Tyler. And backdoor Bailey plan is a go. And that's kind of where the feeds kind of leave off. Tomorrow is the veto ceremony. So do you have any kind of final things you want to touch on for this week before we kind of head to the close?
I just don't want Rockstar to go home this week. If Bailey has to go home, I will sacrifice Bailey. But Queen Rockstar needs to stay in the house.
Rockstar's a mess. But like
We stand.
I just would
We
just
stand.
her and Fessy's like confused face when things like don't go his way. Like
We
those
stand.
are
We stand.
I don't know. I think there's only two people in Big Brother history who have survived backdoors, and each one is a legend. There's Eric Stein and Vanessa. Maybe Bailey could do it, but I don't know if I would want to lose Angie because first of all, she's on my draft.
and we stand her.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm feeling a little good about my draft players. I've got three. I've got Tyler, Angie Rockstar, and Angela. And you, if I'm correct, have Scotty, Sam, Casey, right?
Oh,
Am
I have
missing
all
anyone?
5 of mine left.
Oh, really?
I have Scotty, Casey, Sam, Bailey, and Fessel.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well done, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I had to lose the Summer of Steve to get it, but
Summer of Steve, 2018.
it is what it is.
Yeah. So that leaves Ryan with wow. Ryan lost Winston and Rachel, both his picks. Who else did he have?
Haley.
Haley and JC.
Yeah,
Haley,
and
JC.
somebody else. I don't know.
Brett.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, I think y'all both have 3.
Yeah. So, do you have any final thoughts you want to touch on before?
I have 5.
All right, go for it.
That's how many I have in my draft. I have all 5 left. And y'all have 3.
You got to rub it in, but I have my hopes on Tyler and Angela. Like my first 2 picks, I was worried, but we're full steam ahead. I believe in them. I think I have faith.
Right.
Call me crazy, but I have faith. And I have Angie Rockstar, who's nuts.
A queen.
And
We stand.
all right, so I just want to say thank you to all our viewers. And if you are looking to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Adam Soapbox. You can follow my 2 websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamcvblog.com. I just have a new post on adamsoapbox.com. It's a short story. It's only 2 pages. It's pretty good. Where can we find you, Jason?
You can find me on Twitter at _JasonBrown21 or on Instagram, Jason with 2 N's, Brown with 1 N. And I'm going to be going to see Taylor Swift next weekend. So if you want to see my pictures and videos from that, you should follow me. I'm going to both nights for the Reputation Stadium Tour at Atlanta, and I'm meeting Camila Cabello. So I'm very excited about that.
Is this your first time meeting Camila?
No, I met her with Fifth Harmony.
Wow.
It's my, let's see. This is my second time seeing Taylor. And then this will be my third and fourth time seeing Camila as a solo artist, but I saw her 6 other times with Fifth Harmony.
I don't go to that many concerts. I think the only ones I've ever went to in my life were American Idol ones. Are you, by the way, going to any American Idol concerts?
No, I probably won't be going this year. I was going to, but I just don't think it's in the cards because they're not coming to Atlanta, which is where I live. So I would have had to go to Nashville, and I just don't think I'm going to.
I'm so hyped. I'm going to be going in like a week or 2. I
Are
don't
you
remember which
excited?
day. Oh, I'm
I know
very excited.
you are.
Hopefully, I'll hear some news from Katie. We'll talk. Hopefully, something's going to come of that. But otherwise, I just want to say, Jason, thank you so much for discussing this with me. I really enjoyed our discussion today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thank you so much. We will catch you. The next episode is going to be me and Eric on Wednesday, and then next Saturday night, it's going to be, hopefully the entire team is going to be together. It's going to be me, Jason, and Ryan. This is shaping up to be another pretty nutty week, especially after the veto ceremony. This season I love it.
It's fantastic.
All right. So to our viewers, everyone, thank you so much. See you on Wednesday. Peace.
Bye.